alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're listening to Radio Apni Awaz, current affairs show every Sundays at 2 p.m. Today's show I'm joined by my brother and friend Amar Hussain as usual, and we're going to be discussing today's topics going to be a Gaza update, and also we're going to be talking about the Tommy Robinson case. So that's going to be on today. We're going to be talking about that, inshallah, and also we're going to be highlighting what's going on with the Tommy Robinson case. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome and introduce Amar Hussain. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How are you?
Thank you for having me again, and I really do appreciate, obviously, because this is all voluntary what we're doing, and hopefully people will appreciate us as well, but we're going out of our way to hopefully give some news, even though our news is not very positive at times, but we need to let people know the facts. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, so Jazakallah khair for your time. Also, I'd like to ask the businesses and anybody who can support this radio station to come forward and to support them, especially from the businesses who we much need to support us. So first of all, let's start on the Tommy Robinson case.
Right.
Why was he in prison for?
So originally he was in prison for he made some false allegations surrounding a Syrian refugee who was being bullied in school, physically assaulted in school, and making various false allegations. And he was proven wrong in court, and thanks to people around him. At that time, I don't think it was many Syrian people who helped, but there were people from the Pakistani background, Urdu background, that actually helped with the case. And the positive result was that it was proven that Tommy Robinson was wrong. He lied, and therefore he was liable against
the Syrian refugee.
Yeah.
Right. What sentence did he get? He got 18 months, I believe.
Yeah, I think originally it was a different sentence, but the latest one was 18 months. That was a contempt of court, I think. Yeah, so he went to High Court, and because of contempt of court, he got another 18 months. And that particular 18 months was started from last year, October. So October 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And he recently made an appeal. The reason why we're talking about it is because there was he wanted to make an appeal against his sentence, but that got rejected. I think it was regarding a video. If he deleted the video, he would have got 4 months less, but he didn't do that. So what he is noble to his cause. His cause is of anti-Islam nature. Obviously, it's funded by Zionism and many other organizations, but his main cause is anti-Islam, and I think he wants to be revered as a martyrdom, kind of a person who's oppressed, because I think that appeals more to his voter base.
Right.
Or shall we say fan base.
So why did the court refuse his appeal? Was it obviously he had that video on his?
Yeah, so I think it was repeating the same allegations. So and again, he wanted to portray himself as some kind of heroic figure to his fan base.
Right. So we're talking about Tommy Robinson and his appeal this week, which got refused.
And I think what we need to know is obviously the reasons he appealed. What he said in his appeal was obviously initially he said, somebody will lift me, meaning somebody will kill him in prison. So he got segregated. He was given extra, shall we say, beneficial treatment, even though he shouldn't. He's got mobile phone access, he's got laptop access. So he's been given like somebody who was a politician kind of status.
Yeah.
in prison, so he's been looked after very well.
He's got
he's
snooker
got
table,
emails.
he's got email,
Yeah,
access
so-
to
yeah.
laptop.
So
The only thing he hasn't got access to is the GB News, I think. That's what he
Yeah.
complained about.
yeah, I'm sure with his email communications, he'll probably have access to that, updates of what's going on. But also, I think it's important to mention that he himself is claiming that he's got complex PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder. So normally, this is the same person who complains, or Muslims are not depressed. They can't be depressed. They all terrorist XYZ. But this particular person has got PTSD, and also we learned that he's got ADHD as well. So he's been diagnosed
And
with ADHD.
what did the court say about this?
Obviously, they rejected it, and
Because he was ordering his food on the laptop and he was able to send emails. So you won't having ADHD because of that, was he? Basically,
Yeah.
they refused that because he was able to do other things, and he could do it same as anybody else.
I don't know, but the excuses this guy makes, obviously, is in the past he's been convicted of several of the cases, in particular fraud cases, and so he's been, he's really is with numerous allegations against him. So and I think he's multimillionaire now, from a working class person to a multimillionaire. He's doing well, being on the anti-Islam narrative.
The far right is, as you know, is like championed by these people. The far right, anti-Muslim, anti-Islamic. They want to show that Britain is being overtaken by Muslims. How true? I mean, obviously we know that's a lie. Basically, Muslims have been living in this country for such a long time, and people are coming and going. And is this kind of a weird kind of a thinking that these people have? Why is the right wing growing in these countries, in Europe and
So at the
Britain?
moment is a phenomenon throughout the West, in particular. So whether it's in the US, Brazil, I think Brazil is actually going the opposite direction. They had a far right person. Now there's shall we say, somebody who's centrist back. But in France, Germany, in France, for example, there's a chance of somebody. Obviously, we know Trump's far right and anti-Islam, but what do you call it? In France, there's a chance of that happening. In Germany, there's a big chance of that happening. With the parties are coming second, and now in the UK, the Reform Party and many other parties, if you put them together, they are quite a large number. So unfortunately, now what we see is in the West, particularly Britain, there's a lot of extreme far right individuals. So obviously, our audience should be wary of that fact.
How do we counter that? Basically, what it is we're living in a place. I mean, there's people at the top, like the political elites. Yeah, they're taking all the money, resources of these countries. Yeah, so they don't pay tax. You know, the top corporations and top elites. Yeah, so they need someone to point the finger at, away from them.
Yeah.
So it's easy to push these people and say, look, there's the problem, there's the refugee, that's your problem. They're taking the job, they're taking the money, they're taking your services away from you. Whereas we know that the money is being taken by these elites.
Yeah. So I think obviously, just to mention, in the past in the UK, there's been many massacres against the Jewish people. So the reason why we're going to mention Jewish people is because I'm going to mention further on about Zionists. So they were, if you research it, they were what you call whenever there was an issue, economic issue or political issue, they were frowned upon. Happened in Germany as well. So they have to blame someone, and obviously the people in the minority get blamed a lot. And I think when they do actually target the Muslims, they'll probably target everybody else. They don't know the difference between Hindu, Sikh, or anyone. So the main aim is just to, with Zionist funding, also we know these people are funded by Zionists and other far right extremist who are funding these people. That's how it's being propagated.
You've got like the likes of Elon Musk.
Yeah, so the richest person in the world who is how do you call propagating this kind of false narrative. He's made lots of false allegations. You know, he's made a Nazi slew as well, and you know, there's nobody to police that, nobody to take action against that. There won't be any Muslim authority against it. There won't be any Muslim country. If there was something against some Hindus, I think India will talk about it.
Yeah.
But if there's something against Muslims, you know, what we call our beloved nations, Muslim nations, including the people who follow Saudi, they follow them when they have the moon sightings, but they don't advise them to, you know, try to help neighboring countries like Palestine when they're going through their hardships, or Yemen.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, Tommy Robinson is only one amongst many. Like you got Nigel Farage and others.
There's loads of others. Obviously, there's other what do you call what's that one's name? But there was a man and woman. Is it Britain First?
Britain First. I can't remember the names.
Yeah. So what do you call? We've got these small organizations. There's many other small organizations. So there's loads of organizations, and it's growing. But the people that come to the forefront are being backed by, you know, major corporations, major financiers.
Yeah.
It's like our radio station. We've got a humble background where we've got very few advertisers. I think, but if we, you know, if we have somebody big, you know, like Elon Musk, you never know. Those guys might, you know, fall by the wayside. But hopefully, with our independent broadcasting opportunity, it's really nice to have an opportunity where we can talk about this openly. So I think that's why I do really like coming to this platform with you.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair for that, and I think you know, this story will be continue with this story. As it's updated, it will bring you the latest as this story develops in future programs. So what we will do now is go on to the Gaza update.
Okay.
And mentioning that there's a protest or a march on 3rd of May.
Okay.
3rd of May, I think there's a march for Rajab Hind, her name was.
Okay, I think it's the 1 year anniversary. Would it have been a birthday or something?
Yeah.
But it's to remember the girl that was, you know, horrendously killed. They knew there was a little girl in a car. The whole family was massacred in that vehicle, and she was alive. And I think I've heard her voice while she was being killed, slaughtered. So you know, that is really upsetting. And yes, so if people can come to the demonstration, that'll be very nice. When is it again?
It's on the 3rd of May. I'll get you the details later.
Yeah.
But what's the important thing about this is how many children have died. Children and men and women. What's the latest? Because I know that yesterday or the day before, 90 people were killed in Gaza.
So I think on the official Gaza Health Ministry, on 8th of April, it was 52,000 people officially. But saying that, I think even the past we've talked about, in January 2025, there was on the Lancet, which is the published articles, what do you call it? The published journal, sorry.
Journal, yeah.
In that particular journal, they wrote as of January 2025, there was 64,000 actually killed. So there's a lot of people who are still in the rubble. They don't have anybody to collect it. Wiped out cities, villages and cities and
buildings.
Whole areas, whole hamlets or villages, and basically there's nobody to recover them. They don't have any lump funds. So unfortunately, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people buried under the rubble. Nobody is worse than an earthquake disaster. So if in January 2025 it was 64,000, it'll probably be over 100,000 now. Because they are the Zionist IDF regime are what do you call going. They're not looking. They just carpet bombing areas, hospitals, churches, mosques, and they're carrying on. Nobody's stopping them at the moment. I think nobody's going to stop in the near future. To be honest with you, they're going full on with their program of creating a greater Israel. They are achieving their goals.
They wanted, I mean, their plan is to wipe the whole of Gaza out. And Trump is supporting that. He said to them that these people should go to Egypt or Jordan. They should just move out and we'll create a Riviera. And since then, he said to the Israelis, do what you want, because they're not bothered. I mean, these people, they've got power, so they're using it in the most vile way, which is to kill innocent civilians, children, women, elderly. They don't care. Hospitals, schools. You have the British aid workers that were recently killed. So the thing is, we need to ask what is going to stop this.
Yeah, that's a very big question because what's going to stop it? We know what isn't stopping it. What isn't stopping it currently is the fact that with the countries in the east, shall we say, in particular, we've got Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Iran is doing actually a very good job. I've got to commend them where they've actually talked about it and they've tried to do some action against the genocide that is happening there. So they've actually done more. And even recently, as a couple of days ago, Yemen is actually I think firing rockets into thingy. But I think this is not going to come. This is going to come from a united Muslim nations. They need to get united, and they need to oppose this fully. The only way that they're going to do that is they need to first agree to be friends with each other properly, and once they've done that, is then hopefully, maybe in a couple of weeks, say, look, this needs to stop. Make a joint statement, and say if it doesn't stop, then we'll have to send forces. Because I think Keir Starmer and Trump have actually denounced what's happening in Ukraine. There was a building that was there was a bomb blast in a building, and they actually talked about it. There was main news. They said this is horrendous. That this is happening. But what is even more horrendous is what's happening in Gaza, and there's nobody talking about that. And obviously, if there's people out there with money, we're talking in the billions, like we have in most of them are puppets of the West, but we have all this potential. We've got nuclear power state. We've got what do you call Turkey, Iran, and Egypt with quite big military capabilities. Even they can't say anything. That says a lot because they're afraid. They're too afraid to say anything. So I don't think anytime in the near future that's going to happen. But we are hopeful that there is going to be some kind of backlash from the Muslim countries. Internally there is, but I think the main reasons why there's going to be a stop or a ceasefire, proper ceasefire, is if people in the West are involved and countries like South Africa and Ireland have denounced this, and they've taken court action. They've done all sorts. So we need the Muslim countries to be proactive in that manner as well. At least that's the minimum they can do. We're not telling them to send their armies, even though if they did, that would be probably a courageous thing to do. But they won't do that. But they need to speak up, like I said. They need to put their own sanctions.
So one thing that you mentioned is these guys are confined to nation states, where what is disuniting the people or the Muslim Ummah is the nation states. The other thing is these leaders are corrupt, and they are, like you said, the puppets. They don't have any influence, and what they're doing is they're doing not only doing seeing the zulm in Palestine, they're doing zulm on their own people.
Yeah. Just to protest, there'll probably be several people killed previously or initially when they did protest. So yeah, so it's sad to see that happening. But you need to be united when they come out. I think Iran will probably, the politicians, everybody came out together as a show of force.
I think the people feel it. People feel it, and they've been protesting. And there's been big protests in places like Karachi, in Dhaka, in Yemen as well, and in other places as well, where people have come out, and they're not scared. They're not scared of the regime anymore, because these regimes were hard dictatorial regimes. Even before, people have been arrested and taken away and put away, but still people are coming out, and now what it seems like is you've seen protests in Algeria, in Morocco, in Egypt, in Jordan. There's been protests, and so these regimes now all of a sudden got together. They had the Arab Summit, and they said, how are we going to rebuild something? They talked about Gaza, but this is not the solution. This is not solution. What is going to be solution is something more that's going to be stop this genocide from continuing, which is the country's people rising up and uniting with the other countries, and then actually sending their armies to Gaza to stop the genocide. So this can happen, and it's, although it is very difficult to do, but people are waking up now, and I've seen protests from all over the world. I mean, especially in Muslim countries, which are surrounding them. They are pure dictatorships, like Jordan, Egypt. If they see you protesting, they will pick you up and lock you up.
Yeah. So that is pretty shameful from the leaders. So I think, thankfully, in the West, we can talk about it openly. We can say these leaders are in the back pockets of the Western governments, and they're afraid. They're afraid to lose their positions. They're not gonna go out the way to do anything. We've got people with double standards as well. Jordan as well. The problem is even though they were pretty much involved at the start, in that, if you look at 1947, 1948 with Palestine, because even them, what they say and what they do is something totally different. Because they say a lot of nice words. Even Erdogan has said a lot of nice words, but they were, I think, the biggest potential to, because obviously most of the shipping products come via Turkey, and I think there's an oil pipeline, so they can do lots of things really if they wanted to, but I think because of money and trade they won't. So it's really sad and shameful, really. Because I think we're hoping for a medical kind of thing, and that medical, I don't think there's any person could currently provide that. So we're very hopeful. I think you're more hopeful than me. In the past, we've talked about it. Like, you're saying that there's going to be united Ummah and a possibility of a Khilafat system, this, that, or more democratic kind of Khilafat system, or some kind of system, shall we say. But at the moment, the Arab League and Islamic organizations, or OIC, whatever it's called, they're totally useless. They don't mean anything. just like the United Nations, by the way,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
are powerless.
Why I says that? Why I used to say? Well, what I say is, look, the Arab Spring happened.
Mm.
For 10 years, there was change in Tunisia where one man he burned himself alive, and then you had the Arab Spring where Tunisian the dictator fell, then went over to Egypt. What was his name? Mubarak. He fell. They just came out, and the people came out in different countries. Even in Saudi, they came out in different countries. You had 10 years where and he moved to Syria, where people were just saying we want change, we want a new system. We want a proper system, not this dictatorship or kingships or this and that. So now they are coming out again, and if people come out, who's going to stop them? The army's either going to get rid of the rulers and put in somebody else. But why I keep mentioning system is because they did the same thing, made the same mistake before, where we didn't change the system, we just changed the face.
Mm.
So the important thing is to get change of system. Once you get change of system, the whole world, what I'm talking about is the whole world now, it's falling apart. So international law, where is international law? Human rights, global world order, where is the United Nations? Where is all these WHO? Where is all these women's rights organizations? Where are all these people? Where are they? They talk about it when some person or someone is in there that agrees with them, they will come out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like what they've done in Iraq and Afghanistan, I mean, look at the record. I mean, people are dying. Wars have been ignited on the Middle East, in South Asia, in Afghanistan. So what is going to stop them is going to be a system that's going to say, look, we don't want your system. We've already got the system from the Creator, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That's whether you call it United Islamic System or something that's going to look after the people, no matter what their religion. Because we had that for 1300 years. There was bad times and good times in that. But what I'm saying on a general sense, it was a lot better than the 100 years we have seen. So the last 100 years, we have been having wars upon wars, catastrophes upon catastrophes, and famines upon famines, and people, there is a better way of going about doing this. I think we'll go for a short break, and we'll come back.
I think if you can just let the viewers know, the audience, we say about our contact details and.
Yeah, the phone number
Please
is
do phone in.
01274 271 786 or 01274 271 787. Please ring in and let us know your views or comments or questions.